this experience began, I remember I was just kind of in my neighborhood. I was in the house, the personal self house, but I wanted to leave the house and I wanted to go find my father. So I went to where I knew that he was going to be. And all of a sudden, I was by the very front of my neighborhood, kind of like where the front is. And when I was in this position, I saw my father standing there with the mother and the sister. And so it was kind of like the whole crew was there. And there was this man who was kind of funny. I knew he was kind of nosy. He had a really big nose, and he was curious, wondering if we lived there at all. He was like, "I'm not sure if you guys can live here." Like I'm not sure what his idea was, but it's kind of interesting with the nose thing. He had a really large nose. And so, anyways, I remember I kind of looked at the scene and I stepped aside because I was going to go get something. And then all of a sudden, the father turned to me and he said, "Can you go get I don't recall what it was exactly. I knew it was important to the scene though." And so I already kind of had seen that I was going to go get that. So I had prepared myself and I went. And so when I went, all of a sudden I'm making my way back down the street to go back to the house to get something. Well, as I'm walking in the street, all of a sudden the street becomes filled with smoke. It becomes filled with like smoke and ash and soot. And there's this like a very I don't want to say that word because it's got another word in it, but there was this very like a dastardly red glow that took over the street, and all of a sudden there was lightning. It was hitting the street, and it just turned into this scene of like almost where you could be confused or lost inside of it. But I remember I was just very focused on what I needed to do, that it wasn't affecting me. And then as that was so that I used my will to stay centered and stay focused and not be affected by this kind of like outer phenomena. These little creatures started appearing out of the smoke. They were made out of like, for some reason, every time I see them or I look at this experience, I think of the words fire and brimstone every time these little characters appear, because they were kind of like on fire, and they were made of this like rock, almost like a lava rock, and they were glowing red. And I remember I was looking at them, and it was very interesting because there was a split moment. There was this very fine split moment, almost the way that I would define it. It was almost like thinner than a strand of human's hair. It was just this split second to where I could decide to be afraid or I could decide to confront them. And so I decided to confront them. It was very interesting. And I could perceive that it was on the right side of my body, or the right side of my awareness, kind of my field of view, or on my peripheral kind of thing. And for some reason, I was like either my astral body or one of the mental bodies was getting pulled in that direction. It was just very, very subtle. And I had to really decide not to go with that, because then again, they would be able to destroy me and kind of, toss me around, probably like a rag doll or something, however it would have turned out. Well, I decided not to be afraid like that. So I just basically confronted them, and I was able to dodge them like I was in acrobatics. It was actually kind of fun. Yeah, I was just rolling around and jumping around, and they couldn't hit me. They were tripping over themselves, and it was pretty funny. But I just wanted to share that because it's very interesting that, on the real side, when we're confronted with these things, it is very subtle that, we get pulled left and right. But if we stay centered and focused, we can be really objective to it. And it's not scary. These things that show up, whatever it is. I'm sure we've all gone through it, but I've also gone through it where I see these very kind of horrendous things, and they really it's really just the dark forces, of course, trying to get our agreement, have us emotionally reactive and certain things like that. But the more that we become aware, of course, we can kind of deal with that better. And so that was just an experience like that. Thank you.
Jeremy, yeah, that's cool. That's cute. So when you met your father, mother, or the family, whatever, was the impression that was really them?
Oh, like it was actually like the father.
The what?
You said, was it actually them? Like, what the
Yeah,
father?
yeah. Was it actually
No,
your?
I could see that it was Rebazar.
Okay, okay. Because the nose part is interesting because Rebazar did that once to me too. I was sitting beside him, and he had a really big nose. And I was looking at that, and then I looked at it afterwards, and I realized, oh, Rebazar knows. See? So it's not the nose, but he knows. So somebody knows something. So it's okay, but it's cute. Yes, thank you. That's cool. Thank you.